Yo peeps, another edition of Socially Outcasted, and today's topic we're going to talk about the grade 8. Of course, the Bob Marley, the Magic Special, everyone likes to call it weed. And of course, if you're new to the channel, please make sure you like, share and subscribe. Appreciate the people that's given me the kind feedback and kind words I spoke to upon the intro first video, of course, pardon me. And yeah, man, let's just get it in. So, of course, weed. Everybody smokes weed. Not everyone, but a lot of people like to smoke. Me particularly, I've quit. Do you know what I mean? I've made that choice. And to be honest with you guys, haven't really, I haven't missed it. I can't lie to you. You know what I mean? And it's a hard decision to make when it's not all but if you've been smoking it for so long, and you got to go through the withdrawal symptoms, and that was a killer. I tell you that was a killer. But again, for me, it was the right decision because I was slow and I wasn't really listening to people as much, and I met some people along the way that I didn't really feel comfortable with, and those people are no longer about no more, as well as, it's just a bad habit. Do you know what I mean? And again, I'm not knocking it completely. I'm only going off my own experiences, so you can take this subjectively as much as you want. Do you know what I mean? Everybody has their own experiences. Some people enjoy it, some people don't enjoy it, some people are just stuck. Some people do it just to, do it because it's social. It's like a social activity thing. And for me, who like I already said to you guys, was a bit insecure about myself. It was very hard for me to make friends, and didn't really know how to come out my comfort zone. I was very shy as a kid. Do you know what I mean? So still got a little bit of them elements there now, but I'm pretty much myself, and we're all growing and we're still learning, and we all make these mistakes in our lives, or some things in our life that we're happy or not happy about, but it's never too late to change it. I'm gonna start this off by, I remember a quote by a friend of mine. I'm not gonna expose her, but I remember what she said to me back in 2013, playing a friendly game of Injustice. And I remember she said to me, I can't ever imagine you getting off weed. Now that for me has stuck with me a good 7 years later. It's crazy, and it's crazy because I don't know whether to take that as an insult, or I don't know how. I didn't know generally how to take it, because it's one of those things where it's just like, it's always been in your mind. Is this going to be for life? Do you enjoy doing it? All these type of questions. But again, the things that come along with it, the paranoia, the addiction. Some people do some crazy shit. I've seen some motherfuckers do some crazy shit. Do you know what I mean? I've seen people sell fucking games just to get a fucking 8-ball. Do you know what I mean? And look, I've put my hands up high. I've done that before. I sold a game just to get a bit of weed. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't playing it anymore, but it's the principle of picking up games and selling things just to get high. It gets to you like that. Some people might laugh, whatever. I don't really give a shit. I'm just being honest. It gets like that. Do you know what I mean? And it gets like that when you're addicted to things. I've seen people on coke do some fucking crazy shit. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to expose anyone's names, but they learned their lesson, and look, they're living a happy life now. And weed is not as bad as coke, but again, it can get highly addictive as coke or anything. So for me, I had to make that decision. Now let's talk about when I first started weed. Funny enough, same person who I just actually quoted was around and was involved. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. You know what I mean? Good time, old friend. And I remember I was at his house, and it was one guy I didn't particularly like, and I just came over. They was there. They were smoking. They were like, "Bro, have you tried this before?" And I was like, "No, not really." Do you know what I mean? I've always had my doubts about it because, you know, you hear people talk and say about paranoid. And I remember my mum told me one time that when I was younger, we used to live in our flat. I'm not going to expose the area. Fuck it, I'll expose the area. Back in Gypsy Hill, like, there was a guy that used to live downstairs. And let's just say he used to be very intoxicated. He used to be very intoxicated. And then there was a time where my sister, my older sister, was running around upstairs, of course, in our flat. He's downstairs, and then he must have come up all high and stunk of the shit. And then my mum was like, what's wrong? Like, oh, let me talk to your daughter. Bear in mind, my sister was young at this age. Why do you want to talk to my young sister? Because she's running up and down the stairs. My mum had to send his ass packing back downstairs. So, you know, I had a little bit of an insight there. You know what I mean? I knew people that smoked it, just didn't really fuck with it. But that was all my insight. And of course, all the music videos, all the people I used to listen to, like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg when I was younger, you know, they were always blowing smoke in the videos. And of course, forget movies like How High and Friday, etc. They were all about, do you know what I mean? And obviously, I just never smoked it before. And I just thought, well, fuck it, why not? You know what I mean? It was a little bit of peer pressure, of course. That other guy, you know, was like, well, why don't you try it? A little tough guy act. I thought, all right, fuck it. You know what I mean? And then I wouldn't say it was dead and then straight on. It took a little bit of time. And that was like my first experience of it. And then didn't really get hooked as much. I tried it. Obviously, you know, you get the choke. You don't really inhale it properly, etc. And then, so no, I just left it alone for a while. I remember just having the giggles and that, and just laughing. It was weird. Me and the idiot got on. Do you know what I mean? And which was weird. And I'm sure my brethren was like, well, this was good. We got them okay. Do you know what I mean? Not, it was like me and him were going to fight every time we got near each other. But it was pretty much one of the ones where that's his boy and I'm his boy. So me and the other guy, you know what I mean? We couldn't really be left in a room with each other for longer than an hour. Just, there wouldn't be no conversation there. If something was wrong said, then we'll probably get each other in a fight. So, moving on. Later on in life, I remember me and another good friend of mine, you know, we just, I don't know, he started hanging around with the wrong crowd. And I was just that guy that was just like, bro, like, you need to just stop hanging around with these people. He was just getting himself into a lot of trouble, you know, selling and shit like that. Do you know what I mean? And just wasn't really good. He wasn't even really in a good headspace. And I remember when he disappeared because he got himself into trouble and etc. It's a long fucking story. But me and him used to bun it up all the time, man. Do you know what I mean? We used to bun it up all the time for years and years and years. He was my good friend as well, you know what I mean? And of course, you always cherish the friends that you have before the smoke, before anything, do you know what I mean? And to say that we have a good connection to this day, I'd say so, but we haven't really kept in contact as much. You know, people move on, people grow up with their lives, etc. And I'm not saying mainly weed is down to this, but slowly people will disappear. Do you know what I mean? Those who are important, those who are not. I remember a relationship I was in, kind of weird actually. I remember she never really had a problem with me bunning weed, but she had a problem with me smoking cigarettes. It's a bit weird, isn't it? You know what I mean? You'd think you'd rather quit smoking than be okay with smoking weed, but listen, I don't know, we were young, do you know what I mean? A lot of shit was going down back then, do you know what I'm saying? So, a bit weird on that one, isn't it? But, you know, it just started to pick up his trail, probably around the age of 17, 18, 17, I was slowly dipping and diving, and 18, just started getting heavy into it, do you know what I mean? And then, you know, as time went on, I could see me getting paranoid, and I didn't really care about that. I remember just, you know, just having just crazy whatless thoughts. As I got older, you know, I could see my knowledge was slowly starting to decrease. I became very numb to a lot of stuff. Man, and I mean, a lot of stuff has happened, even when I was on weed. And, you know, I remember when I lost my grandmother. Man, I don't think I had probably a proper cry. Probably since that same girl we'll talk about in another episode. We'll talk about relationships. When she left, when my grandma passed, I think that was probably the toughest time of my life. And of course, when you lose someone who you love very much, I mean, it's gonna hit you. And I just remember, like, she used to tell me all the time not to smoke, quit smoking. Do you know what I mean? I just never listened. Do you know what I mean? And that's one of the biggest regrets of my life. Like, you know, not quitting when she was around. Do you know what I mean? And but to me, she's still here with me to this day. And I was smoking it hard, man. I was smoking it really hard. And I don't think I ever really recovered from losing my grandmother, because to me, my grandmother was like another mother to me. Do you know what I'm saying? So, you know, back then in her funeral when she passed, like, yo, that for me, like, I think that was probably the heaviest I've ever smoked. Like, I just didn't care. I was getting reckless. I thought, you know, in my young adult life, I thought, you know, I thought that was careless. But nah, man, after I lost my grandmother, like, a couple of years ago, it just got tough. It just got really tough, you know what I'm saying? And it was one of those things I just didn't care anymore. I just didn't care about anything. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, and another thing where, you know, I've got my friends and that, and I remember, like, later on, you know, we were talking, and we always talk about quitting. And it's just so hard to just do. One of us tries it, and then we slowly fade into it, etc., etc. Just how it goes. And then I remember I made the even before we even get to that, let's talk about the bad things that I've experienced. I mean, I remember one time, I was just in my garden, just buying a spliff. It's nothing, just buying a spliff. And literally, like, you know, you got the helicopters going past and that. And I remember the deep thought flashback I had with a old friend of mine. And he used to say to me, man, I just used to get paranoid and, you know, about the helicopters. I used to think they were chasing me, etc., etc. And he had a really bad situation with weed when we were younger, and this is when we were in school, and I wasn't even fucking around with it at that point. Do you know what I mean? And it's just so weird. You kind of look at those past experiences and other people's stories and that, you kind of just, you know, you kind of write them off. You just think, nah, it ain't gonna happen to me. Like, again, like I said, everything's subjective. Everybody's different. Everybody, you know, handles weed or handles anything in their own way, innit? But I think after that story, and just thinking back now, just kind of says, like, you know, maybe I should have listened to him, you know what I mean? Like, and me and that guy don't really talk no more, do you know what I mean? But I hope he's doing all right, and I hope he's healthy, do you know what I mean? But from that advice, do you know what I mean, from him, it's just, you know, it's not good, do you know what I mean? And again, back to what I was talking about, being in the back garden, just hearing the helicopters. And it just got really frustrated because I just had images in my head, like just the most stupidest images, like the feds were going to come to my house just because of what, I got an 8-ball in my dresser or something like that, like, or you're arrested. Do you know what I mean? It's just something silly. Do you know what I mean? And it just really became a pain. Weed became a chore. Like, every day after work, I'd just roll it up, smoke, then play computer for a bit, read a little book for a bit, etc. Then probably smoke one for like a late one, and then hit the sack, and then over and over and over again. And I never really had a break, which was always good, you know what I mean? Which was always what you're supposed to do. Never really managed it well, you know what I mean? And I remember one situation, and this was probably the final nail in the coffin. And prior to that, I gave up cigarettes because at the start of that year, I said to myself, look, I really need to get off this. It's been too long now. It's been, what, 8 years now? Do you know what I mean? And I really need to quit. So you know, I've tried to quit in the past. I've done about eight months. I thought, yeah. Then one summer, I just got bored being at home on holiday from work. And again, boredom just got to me. You know, and that is the main issue. If you don't occupy your mind, these thoughts and habits will get the better of you. Especially when you're in a recovery mode and then you end up relapsing. And it's just, you just have to be strong. Your willpower has to be strong. So let's get back into what I was saying. So the real defining moment that really made me decide to quit. And there's been a lot of moments that, you know, I probably were hit and miss. But this one hit the cake. Remember, me and my boy were chilling New Year's, and like literally, like I left the lighter at his house a couple of days ago, and you know, there's a rule. Listen, if you leave something at somebody's house, you don't come back for it or whatnot. Like, it's not yours anymore. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? And Rob must have come back and obviously was there. Now, the key points, I'm going to tell you the story. Now, he didn't have a lighter to start with. I had my own lighter. We were chilling, chopping it up, you know what I mean, rolling it up and that. And I remember he just popped out the lighter. I was like, oh, right, that's mine, you know. He's like, right, man, I can't even give that to you because obviously I ain't got no lighter. And obviously now, me and him were kind of like back and forth, had a little mini argument. And then like, right, he kind of just shut me up a little bit, do you know what I mean? Let's be real, like, I'm not going to lie, I was pissed because I never really felt so heated by that, like, but at the same time, I just sat there. I said, you know what? I apologize, innit? I didn't really think about it like that. Like, the fact that you don't know it's my lighter. Fair enough. Cool. Do you know what I mean? Also to that, you said to me, you don't have a lighter. I didn't care. It's like I didn't care. I didn't acknowledge it. Do you know what I mean? So technically, I didn't care. But the sheer fact of not acknowledging that, and it's your boy, and the joke thing is, I've known him before the smoke and all that, yeah? And I cherish my friends to everything, do you know what I mean? Especially those I've known for X amount of years. And for me, like I said, I was annoyed. And funny enough, I left the house, like, later on, innit? Do you know what I mean? Not straight after. No, none of that EastEnders bullshit. Obviously, we spoke, we sorted it out, you know, we just talked after. But when I left the lighter behind anyways. I just didn't give a fuck. Because he kept telling me to take it. Because for him, he was annoyed at the fact, like, right, it must mean that much to you. It's a fucking lighter. Do you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, like, it's funny enough, you asked me to use a lighter. I gave him that exact one to use. Funny enough. I don't think he realised, or I don't know if he realised or whatever. But, listen, when I left that next day, I just said to myself, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I really can't. And even before that, I was chipping out my spliffs and that. And I remember smoking on New Year's. I think it was Christmas with my cousin. Even a little bit before that. And I was talking to him about it as well. I'm like, you know what, I'm slowing down off it. Like, I quit cigarettes. I've been chipping off my Zeus. I've been dashing half of my Zeus. Again, due to paranoia. Again, because I just can't be ox anymore. Do you know what I mean? And for me, I just never looked back. And then one night, you know, I had one spliff. Literally my last ever spliff. It was in my garden. I went on my group chat. And I just said, listen, guys, I don't know about you, but I'm done. I'm done. And if that means I kind of got to keep my distance from you guys and whatever, then it has to be, because I have to look out for me. And that was the most mature thing I've ever done in terms of quitting, because last time you just quit, you just go cold turkey, you don't really tell anyone, you're kind of doing your own thing, and then, you know, when you're around it as well, you know, you're weak, putting yourself in such a dire situation. So for me, I had to balls up and man up and just say, yo, I'm done, you know. And luckily for me, you know, I have such good friends that I know I can talk to about anything. You know, they decided to do the same because they also felt the same. We've had numerous conversations in the past about quitting, wanted to try to quit, you know, the steps. One person tried to quit before the other, etc., etc. But we all support each other, and I'm forever grateful for them. And I've texted people who I haven't really spoke to, I haven't been around. I said the same thing to them. They respect it. They thank me for that. They're still my friends, you know what I mean, no matter what. And it just shows after that, you know, you still hear from them, you still talk to them, etc., etc. But and some people, you know, are still battling it, you know what I mean? And you know what? We're here to support. Do you know what I mean? Because again, it's not easy, and some people go through their troubles. And like I said, everyone can have their opinion on it. Do you know what I mean? But listen, I knew I was in a loop for a while. I knew I had to get off it. I knew there was something wrong, and I knew I wasn't really progressing with my life. Let's be honest. I was pretty in a closed off environment. I didn't really speak to a lot of people, especially when a lot of things happened to me that were like detrimental in my life, and you know, and I started smoking even harder and harder. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of money was spent, and you know, think about all the money that was spent on just something that you could just smoke and get high to, but the problems are still there after you're sober up. I mean, what's the point? And I know people say it's relaxing, and that was always my excuse. Yes, you can feel relaxed and calm, etc. But again, for me personally, I just couldn't take it anymore. And you know, as time goes on, the dosage, you put more in it, and with all the new weeds that come out every so often, flavors. Remember Ammo, remember cheese, Dutch at one point, etc. Do you know what I mean? I had my time. I went to Amsterdam already. So, I mean, I'm kind of done. I think I closed that chapter in my life of smoking weed. It was fun for a time period, but in the long run, it just wasn't fun anymore. And for me, I had to make that step. So, again, guys, if you feel like you need any help or you need anyone to talk to, go and get that help and talk to someone, because it's always important. You know what I mean? Don't let that silent voice in your head be silent forever. The voice inside you always has the right answers. Believe in it and trust in it. If this is something you want to do in terms of quitting, then go for it. Be my guest. If you're scared, if you're shy about quitting, like I said, talk to someone. It's as simple as that. Or if you don't personally feel like, nah, it's not a problem, it's just weed, it's whatever, then all by means, like I said, take this subjectively as much as you like. I'm Ryan Williams. Thank you for joining Socially OutKasted. Of course, there'll be more videos on this channel being uploaded. Of course, there'll be more scenarios and more stories of my life, and they'll be aired out, of course. And please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Check out Ryan Williams AFC for the Arsenal content, of course. Talk to you about the transfer market. Talk to you about the preview against Burnley coming up this weekend. And yeah, stay tuned for more episodes on Socially OutKasted. Peace.